want to talk about being a woman in male-dominated industries, maintaining our femininity, and still having power, and having that be okay, and having that not be something that we have to A, become masculine to get, or B, become bitchy to get.
It's been really interesting to me watching how Shabnam and I have kind of navigated those waters, because we're meeting with people in the industry, and a lot of times I feel like we're discounted. One, because we're Soul Pancake, our name itself is like, you guys do what again? But two, it's just, we're cute women. I mean, I don't even know. Like, Shabnam and I joke with each other, like when she wears a blazer, I'm like, oh, you're suited up, we're gonna go head to this meeting, or she'll rock on her heels. And I think about the things we try to do to arm ourselves with like the kind of respect we would get if our male counterpart was there, and how sad it is.
I remember when I was working at MTV, I really never wanted to dress up because I was working on the technical side of things, and I was just never taken seriously, like ever. Okay, the more boyish that I can be, the more I can kind of like dress like that, then maybe they'll take me more seriously.
I think it's Susan Sarandon. She said, never underestimate the power of a very short, very tight red dress.
Yeah.
and I think that's awesome coming from a super bright woman, because one of the things I think really sucks in business or just life in general is that often to be taken seriously, you have to become mannish or masculine. And you see it reflected even in the fashion with the women's movement. Like, you have these huge shoulder pads of the 80s because women are becoming men, actually physically.
I still find myself having to, wear the power suit or really do the power hair, which sometimes I find a little bit absurd, but it is what it is.
Wear a suit, wear shirts that are high, don't show cleavage, and wear a little longer skirt. Men will take you way more seriously if you dress the part.
I was reading Sheryl Sandberg's Lean In book right now, and about how she talks about how if you're a little girl and you're assertive, you're called bossy, but boys who are assertive are never given that title.
They're called leaders.
Yeah, they're called leaders.
I think in our society, one of the worst things is when women are perceived as being bitchy when they're putting their foot down, because men can do it all the time and they can say things and it just gets rolled off, and for women it's like, you're being too soft, or like, God, don't be, like someone's in a bad mood, and you're like, come on, doesn't,
Are you on your period?
Yeah.
I do have to factor in the way that I present my information, tone, just to be sure to not be accused of having any sort of emotional attachment to the points that I'm trying to make.
I was a very nurturing type of a salesperson, so I would bring that to the table when I would call on my accounts, where my male counterparts were not doing that. It was really cut and dry, and there was not that emotional component in it.
You're seeing that women are more and more educated, and a lot of times are surpassing men in education. But the challenge, at least in my mind, is that hasn't brought enough of a change, because we've continued to value the same things. So you can have people who are dressed different and people who look different, but if you're continuing to promulgate the same values, then you haven't really changed things.
I worked at Yahoo, and I worked in that corporate dog-eat-dog world. And who were the meanest people? Women.
One of the unspoken things is sometimes that other women can be roadblocks to success.
I've met women where I'm like, dude, why are you like, so they're just mean, and there's a little bit of hostility.
So what do? We start to be helping people up a ladder rather than kicking the ladder from them. And we start to encourage women to have someone under you. My husband said something really interesting. It's never good to be the only person who's good at what you do. And I said, well, why not? That sounds awesome. Because you should always have someone coming up to take your place under you. It challenges you. It keeps you on your game. You learn from teaching other people. And as women, I don't think we take that posture because we think there's only one place. For some reason, there's very few places for us at the top. And I think we have to restructure the way that we think about that.
There's enough. There's enough success and love and money and friendship and orgasms for all of us.
I think there's this really huge competition element when it comes to other women, and we sort of lose sight of we're a community. The worst thing we can do is cut each other down, and the best thing we can do is lift each other up.
I love taking care of others. I have this thirst for being able to nurture people and take care of them, and I feel really whole when I can do that. I kind of feel like the mother of the office because I'm the office manager, and I absolutely love it. I feel like I'm really needed. I feel like a whole person, like I'm using my strengths in the right way. is a really wonderful feeling.
I love that because what you described sound like really maternal characteristics, and it's so cool that you can take that and turn it into business and still be true to like that maternal feeling. You know, it can translate to either one.
I think women should really embrace being women and bring your femininity to the table.
I kind of feel like inherently, like femininity really means like owning who you are. And as long as you're coming from an honest place, like, bitch, you're not. Like, people can't really discredit talent.
What if for a moment we surrender everything we think we are? What if I am not a woman? Black, American, short, voluptuous, poor. What if I evolve beyond all the things I claim to be? What would be left? Who would I be? What would I do? What would I seek? I believe that in the mind of God, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, spirit, universe, whatever force you claim, nowhere was smallness a part of the plan. You were not meant to be mindless. You were not meant to be a slave to an environment that does not grow you. Open up and let the world love you. This is your birthright, and something in you knows this. But getting to it is the sludge you must pass through to access everything that's next. I used to allow the passive aggression of others to shame me into silence. Tried to resist internalizing it, but subconsciously would wonder why I wasn't good enough. I used to hide my art because I was ashamed of it. Too much truth in these stanzas, not enough structure and sugarcoating, not enough whisper in my woman for the comfort of men. See, we are raised to stay in our place, to not shake things up. This is continually reinforced, but every person who has ever made a difference on this earth at some point spoke up, put in work. Every one of them had to learn how to get back up, and I am reminded of things I know in the strangest of places. A trampoline is where I found my grace, somewhere between bounce and land. Watched these tiny children run and fall and get back up. Watched a grown man flip and fold. Watched my friend perfect a trick. My eyes swallowed them whole. My spirit craved the thing my body was most afraid of, the freedom in flight. See, I wanted to flip, to allow this neglected body to exist in free fall, but I was afraid of falling. Afraid I would look stupid. Afraid someone from across the way would notice the big of me, trying something not meant for my size. I was paralyzed, couldn't allow myself to let go enough to fall head over heels, so I bounced. In a single square, in a room full of trampolines, I stayed in my place. There is no power in that. No beauty in the fear of feeling this body resist the spirit. I am more than the limitations I've set for myself. I am more than what the world tells me I can be. I am not just this skin, not just the things I do. I am a culmination of every thought in the Most High, which makes my existence holy. And what if I tried on worthy for size? See, I've wasted so many hours worried, sick to my stomach about frivolous matters and avoided my truth. What if fear didn't control me? What if I didn't let my past define me? What then would fill the space of where my fears lived? I think knowing this would. See, I know now that I was born to write, to express, to remind the timid to be brave, so I will not behave, will not settle into the mundane standards society has set for me as an overweight Black American woman. I will love myself enough to chase these dreams, to jump for joy, to rise in love and fall right out of self-hate, because I was born. See, I was born to be great.
Soul Pancake, subscribe!